Hello. Welcome to Hamadi Station. I do hope you're here about the research assistant opening. We haven't had many promising applicants.
By which he means we haven't had any applicants.
Well, yes. Thank you for the painful reminder. Oh, love of my life. I'm Azad Dubas. My wife Shireen and I are scientists. We've been quite busy lately and are greatly in need of some help. We put out a call for a research assistant, but with recent events, we haven't had much luck.
By which he means we haven't had any luck.
This could become tiresome quickly.
So, are you interested in a little field work? Gathering data, mostly. Nothing too strenuous, I assure you. Well said indeed. I've always believed that the Great Serpent looks with favor upon those who seek knowledge and enlightenment. My wife and I have been studying a recent and somewhat troubling phenomenon. You see, the local wildlife has been dying, and we're not sure why. The remains show no signs of external injury or trauma, so we can rule out most of the usual causes.
Fighting for dominance or territory, predators, hunters looking for sport, those sorts of things.
We began to see this phenomenon just after the accident in Dazra. We're convinced these events are linked, but the exact nature of the connection remains a mystery. Well, no, not yet. However, I'm confident that the process will prove the hypothesis to be correct. We don't know that they aren't. For all we know, the same thing is happening to people right now, just more slowly. All the more reason to work with a sense of urgency. An accurate assertion. This is where you come in. I need you to search for corpses of local wildlife and collect tissue samples. I'll give you a biosample collector that will extract and store the samples safely. Try to collect samples from different kinds of creatures. We want to cast a wide net. Return here when you've got them, and we'll begin the analysis.
The prospect of tearing rotten flesh from animal corpses is not what I would call appetizing.
You're looking for creatures without an obvious cause of death. There should be no wounds, no blood, no sign of physical trauma. What we are searching for is an invisible killer. Off you go then, and no dragging your feet. You're on the clock as of now. Welcome back. Did you have any difficulty obtaining those tissue samples? You're not wrong about that. Perhaps a hot shower is in order. But first things first. Your arrival is well timed. Some interesting new information has come to light. I'll take those tissue samples, and here's your payment. Shireen dear, would you tell our dauntless research assistant about the latest news?
With pleasure. I hope you enjoyed your little jaunt into the field because I'll be sending you right back out there. Some of the local farmers and growth herders have reported seeing unusual plant growth in the area. What's more, none of this unusual growth was seen before the Dazra incident. It's increasingly clear the event affected the ecosystem in some way, but the details elude us. A change in appearance, at the very least. It would be difficult and, in fact, irresponsible to leap to any conclusions. If I can get some samples under my microscope, we'll learn much more, I think. It's possible, but I prefer not to speculate. Better to keep an open mind and let the research tell the tale. My thinking exactly. You really are cut out for this kind of work. Based on our information, these unusual new strains aren't limited to a specific area. As such, we want to examine samples that come from several different locations. In short, the more data you can provide, the better.
Observe, analyze, hypothesize, and prove. These are the tenets of the scientific method. Without them, we're just fumbling in the dark.
Yes, thank you, dear. You'll have to forgive my husband. He's never fully recovered from his days as a teacher. You can, and indeed you should. The storage tubes built into the device are sterilized and will keep the samples pure. Proper research requires the proper tools. Agreed. I've always felt sorry for those who can't find work they truly love. The days must feel like sheer drudgery. We'll get to work studying the animal tissue. Now go forth and travel safely.
I will believe you cry.
If you are free soon,
Our roving research assistant returns. I know we've asked you to travel far and wide. Hopefully it wasn't too much trouble. Good. It seems that things have been going smoothly so far. Perhaps it's a sign that the Great Serpent favors our work. Here's the payment for those plant samples. I have good news. We've got a strong working theory about what's killing the local wildlife. The tissue samples you collected point to poisoning as the likely cause of death. Far from it, I'm afraid. Even if there were, we'd be treating the symptom without addressing the cause. Oh, I very much doubt anyone is. There'd be no reason to do so. We depend on these creatures in more ways than one. Also, the incidents are widespread and affecting multiple species. No, I'm convinced this is not the hand of man. I'm afraid so. Needless to say, the urgency of our work has increased somewhat. The evidence suggests that some force is acting on the ecosystem, changing it somehow. We don't yet have the complete picture, but there is one tool left to us. Would you care to explain, my dear?
With pleasure. To aid in our monitoring of local conditions, we designed a multi-function sensor suite. The device records data for weather, atmospheric pressure, radiation,
Airborne particulates, seismic disturbances, gravitic fluctuations.
We placed several of these sensors throughout the area. Each device can upload its data to a slate for comparison and analysis. There are 4 sensor devices currently deployed in the field. We spread them out to cover the widest possible area. I find it rather beautiful. In any case, this will hopefully be the last of your lengthy excursions into the wilderness. Here, take this. Transfer the data from each of the sensors and then bring the slate back to me. In the meantime, we'll see what we can learn about these unusual plant specimens. We'll solve this riddle yet.
I would like a chance to talk to you, if you are able. Can we speak for a moment?
Oh, welcome back. Time to see if our sensors can peel back another layer of the mystery. Did you notice anything unusual in the environmental data? Well, that's certainly not what I was expecting to hear. Now, let's have a look, shall we? Seems mundane enough. Oh, now wait just a moment. As I suspected, the sensors simultaneously recorded a single event that produced very unusual impacts. This is our best glimpse yet into the Dazra accident and how it affected the surrounding environs. How interesting! The chronometer seemed to have gone haywire in all four of the devices. Even gravity itself seems to have been briefly altered. Remarkable! For one sensor, perhaps. For all four? No, it's not possible. As unusual as the readings are, they're accurate. An astute question. However, I think the answer is no. The readings indicate very subtle shifts that could have gone completely unnoticed. At worst, there might have been a moment of dizziness or a sense of events being a bit earlier or later than expected. Those are hardly uncommon occurrences for most people. A rudimentary summation, perhaps, but not without merit. Your payment as promised. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what we've learned from the plant tissue samples you brought back. I thought you might say that. So, it seems that a certain local species of flora has suddenly become extremely toxic. These biochemical changes occurred with incredible speed. Notably, the first sightings of these toxic variants coincide with the incident in Dazra. I'm just not sure how the strange effects of the vortex could cause plants to mutate so rapidly.
By triggering a defensive response. Countless species of fauna have evolved to develop protective mechanisms. Poisonous toxins are among the most common such adaptations.
That's true, but those adaptations evolved over generations across long spans of time. These seem to have appeared in a matter of mere days. That shouldn't be possible.
And yet, the sensors documented fluctuations in the very fabric of space and time. Who's to say what's impossible when the fundamental laws that govern our reality are altered? No. Well, not fatally in any case. However, we rely on the local wildlife as a source of sustenance. If the problem is left unchecked, food shortages and eventually starvation could follow.
Shireen, do you remember that experimental compound you were developing?
The one designed to alter plant biochemistry? Huh. Interesting thought. I'd been theorizing about ways to create edible strains of local flora. It's possible I could alter the formula to neutralize the toxins in the affected species.
There is, however, a not insignificant complication.
The experimental compound is locked away in cold storage at the botanical facility. I was growing strains of fungus and mushroom there for medicinal use, but we were attacked. A group of pirates called the Crimson Fleet took over the place, forcing us to leave. Pirates. Here, on Varun Kai. I could scarcely believe it. Mushrooms and fungi can be used to create a wide range of illicit recreational substances. No doubt such products can fetch a high price. I suspect the pirates seized the facility to fund their operation. That might not be as helpful as you expect. House Kadik claims the pirates are a splinter faction with their own agenda. It's likely they'll be hostile to anyone outside their cadre. Go with the Serpent's blessing. We'll be waiting for you here.
Be advised that this is now a total system failure.
I would like a chance to talk to you, if you are able.
Well, look who's back. And still in one piece, no less. Gathering plants in the wild is one thing, but raiding a pirate base is wholly different. Rest assured, I will never doubt you again. Hopefully it's the correct science goop. Just a little joke. You haven't let us down yet. Here you are. Payment as promised. Did you hear that, love? Our courageous research assistant has delivered yet again.
I never had a shred of doubt. Nothing inspires courage and perseverance like the pursuit of knowledge, I always say.
That is quite literally the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Well, I certainly always think it.
Yes, dear. Of course you do. You've done more than enough as it is. We could hardly ask more of you. We'll get by on our own from here. Indeed we do. Thanks to you, we not only have the answer to our little mystery, but a path to resolving it. Here's a little something extra for a job well done. Best of luck in your future scientific endeavors.
Oh, bless the Great Serpent for bringing you to us. Your heavens
I cannot thank you enough for what you have done for Dazra, for House Varun. If only more in the settled system shared that view. But history is what it is. Though it is hard to imagine a future for House Varun where Anasco is not leading. But now, House Kadik will lead. Having seen more of the universe myself, I think that could indeed benefit us all. Thankfully, this transfer of power comes at a time of peace. You were right to vote against the crusade. Indeed it does. There is no guarantee that it will not happen again in the future, but at least you have prevented it for now. No matter what, the path ahead will be difficult. But at least there still is a path, thanks to your actions. It means a great deal to me, what you have done for my